stop me now, they won't stop me now, they won't stop me, no. They won't stop me now, they won't stop me now, they won't stop me, no.
Hello and welcome back to We Are Mighty. Are you feeling mighty today? How's the last couple of weeks been treating you? Since you've been on this journey, have you felt a little stronger? Are you trying to be mighty and making your way through it? Of course, every day is not going to be that way, but we still want to try to be as strong as we can, because we know that this journey isn't easy. What journey am I referring to? The journey that We Are Mighty is, the grief journey, the learning of living a completely different life, the learning of living with loss. For me, it was the loss of my son. For you, it may have been another family member, someone close to you, a friend, a friendship. Grief doesn't only apply to loss of life. There's lots of things that you can grieve. Losing a job. I still can't believe that I actually went through grief related to that, but it definitely happens. And as always, we know that there's no cookie cutter way. There's no 12 steps. There's no diagram of how it should go or where you should be at a certain time. You just are. You just deal with it. And I hope that by watching this podcast and by hearing the tidbits that I try to throw out there, that it's a little bit easier for you. That you get a little bit more strength to go just a little further than you thought you could. Because that's what it's all about. This podcast is therapeutic for me. This is my way of going a little further, of dealing with it, and being a little bit stronger, in the hopes that it helps you. Because that's my goal. So how is your journey? How far have you come? Did you have any setbacks? It's okay. It's to be expected. Did you have anything that you felt was a triumph? If so, great job. Have you been stagnant? That's fine too. Because your journey is your journey. And neither I nor anyone else can tell you how it should be, how long it should be, where you should be. Just be. You know, I have been seeing lately, and I can't say like everyone used to say it happens in threes, it comes in threes, because I've literally been seeing clusters of loss around me. And people are losing close loved ones. You know, my situation was my son, but I've had a couple of friends who have lost their mothers. And I couldn't imagine that. Even with going through what I have with my son, I couldn't imagine that loss. And if you are dealing with that, I pray for you. I pray for all of you, whatever your loss, that you're able to deal with it to the best of your ability. You know, I was thinking about how there are families who, for whatever reason, whatever their dynamic, only seem to come together when there's a significant loss. And that's a sad thing. That's very unfortunate. Some families just don't, I don't want to say commingle, but they just don't do things together. But the thing that the thing that I hate, and I'm going to use that strong word hate, that seems to happen with these families that basically go all year or for years at a time, as long as no one passes away, without speaking much to each other, checking on each other. Then they have to deal with the loss of a loved one. And then it's, I was going to call her yesterday, or, she just crossed my mind. And I'm not saying that didn't happen, but there was a reason that happened. And now it's too late. But that's not the thing that I hate. What I hate is what I see that it resembles the New Year's resolution. I call it the grief resolution. So we know around New Year's, everybody comes up with, for this next year, I'm going to do this. Or all the social media posts, new year, new me. And it's the same old you that it was last year. Now, some people do make an attempt and some people do change, maybe gradually or maybe something minor. But a lot of times with the New Year's resolutions, people just don't follow through with it. They say it on the 1st. They may do it the 1st through I'll be generous and say the 1st through the 15th of January. And then they fall off. The thing with grief, though, especially in those families that aren't close, that don't spend a lot of time together, it's always, man, we got to spend more time together. You know what? We got to do different. We can't wait for somebody else to be gone to come together. Let's stop having the only time we come together is when someone dies. And everybody's at the funeral and hugging it. Oh man, I love you, cuz. I love you, sis, bro, whatever the family member. And all right, I'm gonna keep in touch. I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna make sure you good. And everybody talks about how things are gonna be different. It shouldn't have been this way. We shouldn't have just come together for this. We should be a family outside of loss. And yeah, for the first couple of days, people keep in touch and call or text. Maybe. Some people you don't hear from once they leave the cemetery, if they go to the cemetery. But then after those days of the excitement wear off, and it's not in the forefront of those family members' minds because they didn't lose someone as significant as you did. So say it was my case, it would be, I lost my son, but they may have lost a nephew, cousin, and it's not a daily reminder to them. Because it's not someone that they spoke with on a daily basis anyway. And so the whole, we got to keep in touch, it dies off. What does that make family mean to the person who suffered the significant loss, the person who's closest to the one that was lost? What do they feel a week, 2 weeks later, when it really hits them? Because for lack of a better word, nostalgia has died off. And for those other people, yes, they know they lost someone and, yes, they have the time to grieve. But it's almost like they forget about that person who felt the loss the most. And so that we got to get together. That's your grief resolution. just like a New Year's resolution. Sounds good, and you may have had the best of intentions when you said it. But speaking every day turns into not speaking for one day, which turns into 2 days, 3 days, a week, a month. Before you know it, a year has passed. Well, probably not a full year, because on that person's birthday, you almost do the grief resolution all over again. Oh, today would have been my family member's whatever number birthday, and rest in heaven, happy heavenly birthday. And you might reach out to that person on that day. You might. Or you'll just make a social media post, and then once again, you fall off. I don't know, honestly, if that grief resolution cycle is easier or harder than the grief cycle. And I say that because with the stages of grief, you're dealing with that loss. That person can't come back. Whatever you lost can't come back. So yes, you're going through the different emotions of that loss. But that grief resolution, this is someone who's still alive, who's still here. And they're saying, oh, we got to get together. We got to stick together, and the family's got to come together. And then they fall off. And then the loved one's birthday comes around. Oh, happy heavenly birthday. And oh, let me reach out to the person that felt the loss the most. And hey, I know you're having a hard time today because it's their birthday. I'm here if you need me. And then they fall off again. And then the holidays. Hey, I know this might be a hard time for you. And it's funny because you don't know. The days that I think would be the hardest for me are not. So it's awkward. I think I mentioned before that the anniversary of my son's death wasn't as hard as the anniversary of the day we buried him. So you don't know what days affect a person who's lost someone. It may not be those milestone days. It can be a day that they just remembered something significant that was done. Oh, we went to the apple orchard on this day. And they're sad because, they can't do that anymore. I almost want to just say to people, stop blowing smoke. That's the best way I could put it. Stop blowing smoke. If you know that your life is not going to allow you, or that you just are not going to be that person that reaches out, stop making broken promises. Stop saying things just because it sounds like the right thing to say. Because what you don't understand is that person who's dealing with grief, they may hold on to that. They may need that new family relationship to help them be just a little bit stronger. And I can say that as someone who's dealing with grief and who's dealt with grief, that there are people who I thought would be there more so than they have. And there's also people who dealt with losses that I thought I would be able to be there more than I was able to. So I'm not just saying, I'm not saying that people don't have the best intentions when they say it. But I would say think about it. Because trying to speak for the whole family, you don't know what the family's going to do. And if you can't get yourself to follow through on that resolution, how are you going to get anybody else to do it? And it's just crazy how it like dawned on me like that's exactly what it is. It's like a grief version of a New Year's resolution. I'm going to do better. We've got to do better. And within a couple of months, it goes right back the way it was for everyone except those who were closest to that person that they lost. And there may be days when they wish that their family members would have called or would have come around because they're going through it. And at that point, it's difficult to pick up the phone and just call someone. I cannot see myself, although I've had several people tell me, if you ever need to, if you need to just call and have me on the line while you cry, I will do that. I am not. I'm sorry, maybe other people can, but I'm not calling somebody for them to listen to me cry. Let's be realistic. That's like going live and crying on social media. Why? Like, what does that do? I'm sorry. I'm just trying to be real with it. I get being on social media and maybe getting emotional to where it happens. But when you crying and you think to yourself, "Ooh, let me get my phone and go live," there is something wrong there. There's something wrong. Again, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a therapist, but I'm still going to tell you there is something wrong. Why would we share that with other people? Them social media people aren't your real friends. I really wish that they would change the name. Not your friends list, your acquaintance list. Your observer list, because that's all it is. They're observing what you're doing. There are people who watch your social media just so they can try to determine how you're dealing with your grief. How do I know? Because people have done it to me. And say, well, how can you say that or think that and you lost your child? You can't tell me what to say or think or do or say or speak. I think I just said the same thing 3 times, but still. You can't guide me on dealing with my loss. What I won't do is go on social media trying to solicit an emotional response. That's what I feel like crying on social media does. Now, making a statement saying, grief has brought me to this point, I don't feel like that is the same as literally just going in and having people watch you cry. I don't care about clicks or likes, so I'm not going to do it. Now, if that is how you do it, if that is how you deal with your grief, more power to you. But I still say you may want to examine that decision. Maybe that's a nicer way of saying it. But I still feel like there's something wrong. And I'm entitled to my opinion. I'm sorry. I just feel like there's no need, I guess. But then again, I'm not one who reaches out very much. So I'm not one who goes live very much. It's enough to do these possibly 30-minute recordings every other week. So yeah, you won't see me going live just because I'm crying. Again, my preference, my opinion. But I still say the grief resolution is a real thing. Nope, I've never heard the term. It's something that I believe I coined. I might need to trademark it, but it's a real thing. Now, don't get me wrong. The people who say, if you need me, give me a call. I'm here. I don't feel like that's a resolution, but it's also difficult because the person who's going through it may not be able to reach out. They may not have the strength really to call and say, hey, I need this. I know I can't. Every time someone says, what do you need? Do you need anything? No, I'm good. I'm fine. I'll make it. It's not being rude. It's just, what am I supposed to? Well, yeah, I could use some money. Like, that's uncomfortable for me. Asking for things is uncomfortable for me anyway. So, but it just doesn't, I don't think anybody who says, is there anything you need, really expect you to come up with like a list. I think they'd probably be shocked. Hey, I'm so sorry for your loss. Do you need anything? Yep. Well, I need somebody to plan this funeral. I need to figure out what the songs are. I got to figure out this whole mess of finding a place to bury my loved one. I got to figure out the money, life insurance. Can you help with any of that? No, I didn't think so. That's why I don't bother. I'm sorry. I'm a little tense today, I guess. I just, this journey's a doozy. It's a doozy. And it's funny because it's not just during grief that people come and say, hey, do you need anything? Hey, what do you need? What can I get for you? What can I do for you? So it all gets blurred and misconstrued. And what's the real reason behind it? What is it what's your goal? If you really want to do something for me, just do something. I don't know, figure it out. Don't give me fried chicken because I got so tired of fried chicken. There was somebody every day for 2.5 weeks with fried chicken. What is it that makes it when someone dies that fried chicken has to be involved? I don't know. I'll figure it out later, I guess. If you truly, truly, truly want your family to be closer as a result of the loss of a loved one, it may have to be you as the person who's closest to that loved one to be that conduit. I know that sounds crazy, but maybe they need to see the emptiness that you feel once the nostalgia, once the excitement wears off. And maybe it will click that, yes, you know what? We need to spend more time together. And we said that. We got to follow through with it. It might take a whole different direction. Maybe have people see things from a different perspective. I don't know. It's just a suggestion. I know that there's too many families out here that don't understand the phrase, as dark as it is, as final as it is, but also as true and direct as it is. Tomorrow is not promised. And the last thing you want is, I want to get together with my family. I'll call so-and-so tomorrow. and see what they think. And for whatever reason, you're not able to call them tomorrow. I wish I had just one more tomorrow with my son. I wish I had just one more tomorrow with my friend who passed away just a couple months after him. So what do? When they cross your mind and you think, I should call them, I should check on them, do it. And I'm talking to myself too. I am one of the worst at it. I literally had a loved one that I said, "Ooh, I need to go by her house. I need to call her." And it was weighing on me for a few days in a row. And I never did. That weekend she died. And still, it hasn't changed. I still have people who cross my mind, and I don't call or text or reach out in some way to make sure that they're good. And God knows I'd hate for something to happen to one of them. So I'm guilty as well. I'm guilty of the grief resolution. And there are a lot of people who are guilty of it. We just got to figure out a way to just make it I don't know. What would be I don't want to say the opposite of a resolution, but a grief declaration that we actually follow through with. There you go. I'm just coming up with all kind of vocabulary words today. Try it though. Even like I said, even if you're the one who has experienced the significant loss, try to be the one still who holds the family together. It might give you a new sense of purpose. But don't just throw it out there like a New Year's resolution and forget about it. Because you don't know who is really counting on that. All right, I'm going to jump down off my soapbox for today. I hope something got through to you, though. This journey is crazy. It's a roller coaster. It's uneasy. It's unpredictable. But we're going to make it. We're going to continue to make it. We are here every other Friday, everywhere that you listen to podcasts, and you can watch us on YouTube and Spotify. If you'd like to be a guest, if you'd like to have me touch on a topic, or if you'd even just like to be one to send me a grief resolution and say you're always here, email me at wearemighty24@gmail.com. I promise I'll respond. In everything you do, be true to yourself, be strong, and be mighty. I'll see you next time.
They won't stop me now, they won't stop me now, they won't stop me, no. They won't stop me now, they won't stop me now, they won't stop me, no.